Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know, I always start my show off being thankful. Some people will say grateful or gratitude. It's a beautiful day today. It's so sunny that some people are complaining of the heat. I have extra fans on. In the Caribbean, it's always hot. It's either hot or wet. You know, we don't have all those different seasons like you guys outside of the Caribbean, yeah? So it's either hot or wet. And don't ask us the temperature. We have no idea. We just know it's hot, humid, chilly, windy. That's how we express how we feel. We don't say anything about Celsius and Fahrenheit. That's just how we communicate here. Okay. All right. So I am still so happy to be here in this hot weather. I'm grateful because we had a lot of rain the other day, and I was still grateful for the rain because I could tell you it really cleaned the air and, you know, refresh. It just brought a whole freshness. And of course it wet the earth, so things are greener, lusher, much more beautiful. And I appreciate the beauty of the world. Yeah. So I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful to have a handsome man with me. I think I'm seeing double because he has a picture of himself plus his real self there. So we have double handsomeness on my show today. Yes, Justin Pogue. And we're talking about a topic, renting. So if you're renting, you have the power. Now, when I listened to his video on his website, I couldn't believe some of the things he said. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to convince me and you of what he's saying and his years of experience in the industry, because we know, just like he rightfully said in his video, and I may feature it a little later down, is that the person who rents, what do they call him? You have the landlord and the tenant, yes?
Yes.
The tenant. The tenant really doesn't have power. All the power is really in the landlord's hands, but he's saying, no, no, no. I have some things to share with you that you would realize that you do have the power. And I looked at his website and I saw something that said you can get rent for free, something like that. That piqued my interest. He's nodding. He's actually nodding. So which means that I'm not lying. I did read right, or he's lying, or somebody's lying here. So, but it's not me, because he's actually agreeing that I saw it on his website. So probably he's the one that's lying, and I'm going to prove that he's lying today. So welcome, Justin, to Between the Lines.
Thank you for having me. And it's a wonderful 88-degree day here in San Jose, California.
And of course, he had to say that because I said we don't know the temperature here. So I'm happy for you that you know the temperature where you are. I can just tell you it's very hot over here. It's very
Well, here in the capital of Silicon Valley, we have all these gadgets to tell us these things.
Oh, how horrible for you. I am so sad for you people there. We don't need all that. We just say it's hot. It's very hot. It's okay. It's hot. It's nice. It's perfect. Those are the things we say. We don't need any gadgets. We go based on the feeling. Yes? We go based on the feeling. So let me share a bit about Justin here. Justin Pogue is a real estate consultant and author based in San Jose, California. Fox News, the Mercury News, Realtor.com, and ApartmentTherapy.com have all featured his insights for the benefit of their audiences. Since 2003, he has developed and managed apartments, rental homes, and student housing across the U.S. Justin holds a degree from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania and an MBA from the Darden School at the University of Virginia. So official welcome to Justin again on Between the Lines.
Yes, thank you. So yes, my website does say that there is a way that you can obtain rent for free, and I will prove that no one is lying. It is a option that is available to people.
So let's start with that one, so I can throw you off my show quickly because I know you're lying.
Well, yeah. So as we all know, there really is nothing that comes for free in life.
That's right. So you're lying. So we're throwing you off the show now.
So what I'm referring to is an opportunity where someone can, in essence, work for the landlord on a smaller property, say 16 to 20 units, and actually take care of that property for the landlord in exchange for rent on one of the apartments.
I love that. And I actually thought of that the other day because I was saying I wanted to live rent free. And that is exactly how I thought of it. I said, you know, if somebody has some property to manage or a house or something, you know, it could be minimum, just a few properties or even one. I can stay on the property in a smaller space because it's just me. And they can pay me even, or I can live rent free there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because when you think about what a landlord has to deal with, because once you own the property, you're responsible for everything that happens to it.
Right.
So you are at the center of marketing issues, customer relationship issues, construction issues, maintenance issues, sometimes environmental issues, and you may or may not have people to help you with that.
Yeah.
But in dealing with those issues, having someone who lives on the site, who can respond to the issues, who can meet the vendors when they come to do repairs, who's available to show units when people come to visit to look at them. That means that the landlord doesn't have to be there. They don't have to take that time out of their day to go handle those issues. They can be working on other projects or travel or whatever it is that they're doing. There really is a lot of value in having somebody on the property who can look after it and take care of it the way that the owner would if they were there.
Do you know, I'm listening to you and I actually did that without even thinking because of the type of person I am. Where I'm renting, there's a place that was available and I showed a young man it. And I mean, the way how I did it, nobody else would have done it that way. I mean, I gave him a full tour of the place. Plus, I told him about the environment, where he can get a taxi, who's renting downstairs that drives a taxi, where he can get food, the supermarket, but next door. I mean, I gave him the full 100 of the entire community, how best to travel, what time, everything. I mean, come on. I really need to put my service in a package and sell it.
I mean, that level of service is amazing, and that's what residents can provide because they live there. In fact, they probably know the building better than the owner does.
Exactly. I am here most of the time. I mean, I'm living here. The owner isn't really here. So I did in my service, and the guy took the place just based on the way I gave him the tour and the talk and the rundown and everything.
And this also highlights another interesting issue is the quality of the people that live in the building. And in this case of the story that you're telling, the quality of the person who's living next to him, in this case you, probably helps sell him on the deal.
Of course, knowing that he will be living next to me or near to me, hello, please, that's value right there.
Yeah, so it's also something that people go to all of these real estate seminars and they learn how to invest in real estate and all of this, but they don't talk about a lot of these factors. And one of the factors they don't really talk about is that one bad resident can ruin your whole investment.
Exactly. Yes.
So keeping quality residents on the property is not only just common sense, but it makes really good investment and financial sense.
That's right, because when the young man came, I made sure and told him the do's and don'ts. I said, listen, the people here are very private. If you notice, there's no noise, there's no loud music, there's no whatever. People like to stay to themselves. They came here for quiet and peace. And really, you have to be mindful of that. If you know you're not into that, then this is not the place for you. You have to respect people's space, etc. So he understood that.
Yeah.
That's
and when I talk to people who are looking for apartments, definitely go and meet the leasing agent or whomever and tour the property and all of that. But I also advise them to come back at night.
Yeah.
Better not come back at night on the weekend. See what this place looks like when the property management people aren't around. Really find out, do quiet hours really start at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Or is the real time, midnight or 1? That way you can go into the apartment rental situation with your eyes open. You know exactly what you're dealing with. And you'll be happier with in the rental situation that you end up in.
That's right. I love that. Is there any other way for you to be rent free, or is that the main way?
That is the main way. There are other ways that you can reduce the amount of rent that you're paying. Because as we've kind of touched on, the book that I've written is written from the perspective of the renter.
Right.
However, a landlord reading this book can look at this from the perspective of, my tenants are more than just a check.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. They're offering value. They're actually uplifting the community, the value of his place. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because so when you look at property and you look at the appraisal techniques, there's basically three techniques. Okay. One is, what does it cost to build this structure? The other is, what do similar properties around it sell for? But the third is based on, what is the income of the property? And they extrapolate that income from over a year out to come up with a value.
Nice.
Well, if I retain quality residents and that boosts the income that I have, then my building is worth more.
Yeah, lovely. I always love real estate, and I find it so interesting, the whole thing about property. But I want us to go to the point. I mean, it's just because I wanted to prove you lied. So now I know you didn't lie. We can move on. We can move on to, how is it that the rental or the tenant has power? Because we don't feel that we have power. It's always about the landlord, and you feel at any point they can evict you, and they set the price, and you have to meet the terms and conditions, or else, that type of thing. Tell us how it is that we as the renters or tenants can have some power.
So how you start developing that power is something we've already touched on, and what I refer to as social capital. Most people are very used to the concept of financial capital, spending money, that kind of thing. But the power of social capital is really understated and a little bit more subtle. It's the power of the relationships that you build with people. So in the example of a rental situation, if someone moves into an apartment and let's say they have a pet, let's say they have a dog. If they do not clean up after their dog when they walk their dog, and that starts to disrupt the community, you are decreasing the amount of social capital you have with the other residents in the building, and by extension with the landlord, because the other residents will be calling the landlord about you and your dog.
That's right. You're not stepping into poop. Nope.
Right. Right. So what that means is, if you are cleaning up after your dog, okay, you're creating a positive environment for everybody. And that sets the stage for you to really be able to negotiate with your landlord. That's where it starts. Because if I don't like you and I don't want you on my property because of how you're acting and behaving, I'm not going to negotiate with you.
No. What do you have to negotiate with?
Exactly. So it starts there. And then it moves into areas of understanding what a landlord may have to do if you decide to move out. So as a landlord, there's a couple issues that we need to cover. One is, when I rent an apartment, or let's back up. When an apartment is vacant, I'm not receiving money from that unit.
Right.
And even worse, I can't get the money that I've lost back. That day has passed. I can't rent that day ever again.
Right.
So in the situation of someone who may be looking at staying in an apartment or moving out, if they move out, kind of examine the process that a landlord has to go through to get someone else back into that unit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lost rent in the time that it takes, usually about a month or so if things go well. Plus the cost of cleaning up the apartment and repainting and repairs or whatever else you may want to do, advertising the apartment, and going through that. So there's an actual cost. So So for example, in some of the cities in the United States where rent may be $3,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a month to get somebody to actually move into that apartment after this person has left. So the landlord lost $3,000.
Wow.
On top of that, they have to pay for all those other costs,
Of
which
course.
may mean they're out $4,000, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So was it really worth asking for that $300 renewal? Maybe that person could have, and from the renter standpoint, maybe you could have negotiated and said, well, let's not do a $300 increase. Let's do a $100 increase, and I'll stay, and you will not incur this $4,000 expense.
Yeah.
I'm really in charge of whether you have to pay or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So it all boils down to negotiation, because it really, nobody, as a landlord, you really don't want to have the hassle of looking for somebody. It really, really is hard. It comes like looking for a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of the things that kind of disturbs me. People go through college education, school training for whatever profession they want to go into. But a lot of the practical things don't get covered during that educational process. And this is one of the practical things that does not get covered.
Yeah.
What should I be looking for in an apartment? How do I negotiate with a landlord? What are the concepts and issues on that person's mind? And what language are they speaking so I can negotiate effectively when I'm looking for a place to live?
Wow. That sounds like a degree, Justin. That sounds like I have to do a degree. I'm like, it's like studying all over again.
Yeah, well, I'm actually in the process of creating a virtual summit.
Yeah.
Covering a lot of these topics around renting, and really filling in that educational gap that's been left. So that will probably be coming out later, not this year, but late next year.
Well, you need to keep in touch with me so that we can jump on that and help you to promote and add in this as a promo video for it as well. To get persons to come in, because real estate is a big thing. It's really a good investment, but it takes time. But I think it's one of the best investments because, land appreciates, house, appreciates. These kind of things, these investments tend to bring in money for you in the long term, So I think it's a good investment. What are the best, how should I put it, real estate types to invest in?
So my background is in residential property management.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been dealing with renting houses, fourplexes, duplexes, apartments, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I really love that sector because everybody needs a place to live.
Of course.
And in many places there's not as much inventory as there should be to provide housing for everyone. So it's a really interesting investment from that standpoint, because there's definitely a need for that category. But what's also happening is as cities become denser, you're seeing a lot more mixed use properties. So you'll see properties with retail or office space on the first floor, the second floor, and then apartments above that.
Okay.
So the sectors of real estate are kind of starting to blend a little bit.
What about student housing? Students is always a recurring income, especially like for us, where the universities are. A lot of students want to live near the universities, and of course, parents will feel safe on knowing their child or children and near the university or on the university itself. And we find the pricing for real estate around that area tends to be higher because we know the demand is greater. Should someone think of, about you're into residential? Could somebody specialize into student housing, residential housing, renting for corporate offices?
So as you break down the residential category, you have, as you mentioned, student housing. You also have what are or at least in the United States, they're called assisted housing facilities.
Yeah.
So they're designed for more elderly people.
I
So
love that. Yeah.
yeah, so they'll have like grab bars built in, and better wheelchair ramps and access and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Then there's also another category that this next category was really big in the United States back in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
And it's starting to make a comeback, and that's the co-living or co-housing.
What is that about?
What that means, so historically there have been these things called rooming houses where people would come and rent a room and they would stay. It's kind of a cross between a hotel and an apartment rental. Okay. And so instead of renting an entire apartment, what people are doing is they're renting rooms for some length of time, a month or a year, or whatever their situation dictates. That living situation is making a huge comeback, especially in the more expensive markets in the United States, the San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles. It's really making a resurgence, and it's interesting for a couple of reasons, because people who are coming out of college, they've been living in a dorm situation, which is
that's right. Yeah.
So it's an easy transition for them.
Yes.
There are a lot of benefits to living in that kind of situation where you have a built-in social network. There are people to hang out with and spend time with. You're splitting your your cost of housing with them. It allows you to live closer to the urban center with nightlife and job opportunities and all of that, networking opportunities and all of that. So as long as the people living in that situation get along, it can be a great place to live. And there are actually companies that are building properties with that concept in mind.
Nice, for their workers. Actually, you're mentioning that, and it fits quite squarely here in Trinidad and Tobago, because people are really putting up some quick and easy, like master bedroom type things, just a room, just like a dorm situation. Once you have your room and your bathroom and a small kitchen or kitchenette, you're good to go. You don't need much as a single person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the rent is cheaper. The rent is cheaper, more conducive to your pocket, and you can live. You can live.
And in talking about this situation, we'd really be remiss without mentioning Airbnb. Even though it's really short term, it has opened people's eyes to the value of that spare room that they have, and the ability to rent that out, and removing some of the fears and concerns about renting a room in your house to someone.
Yeah. I remember long ago when your children move out, the whole house used to be empty and it was just the parents, and you'd be like, you're cleaning the room as if the kids are still there and they moved out, married, have children. And you're like, what? We have space. And people are realizing now with the whole introduction of Airbnb that they're renting out their rooms. They're even renting out the garage, Justin. Every space they have, some of them rent out the whole house and move in to a smaller apartment and rent an apartment and give somebody the entire house.
Yeah. And what's interesting about it is, yes, there's a financial benefit to doing that, but there's also a social benefit to doing that. You're interacting with people that you never would have met otherwise.
Yeah.
People are coming in from other cities, maybe from other countries. You're making social connections that can be amazing enhancements to your life that you never would have known about otherwise.
Yeah. Love it. I want to hop across to your website and feature that quick video, and of course your book, which is so prominent behind you and on the side of you. So let me just hop across there. There we go. That's you. And let me see if I can bring up, let me see if I can bring up this.
My name is Justin Pogue, and I've been in the real estate business since 2003. Working as a property manager, I've helped thousands of people search for their next rental home. Searching for a new place to live can be a daunting task. During this process, most people believe that landlords and property management companies have all the power. After all, they own the new roof that you need. Well, I'm here to tell you that you have more power than you think. Unfortunately, that power is never used. Why? It isn't used because people don't know they have it. Where does this power come from? While these landlords and property management companies appear to be holding all the cards, there are realities of the property rental business that they must contend with. These realities create stress and pressure. By learning the inside secrets of the rental industry, you can develop the power to relieve this stress and pressure to save hundreds of dollars renting your next home. Where do you find this insider information? It's all in my new book, Rental Secrets. Rental Secrets is your guide to leveraging the power you didn't know you have in the rental process, in any rental market. This power is available to everyone in all walks of life. No special abilities or talents are needed, and it works in both large and small cities, in both urban and rural environments, in all markets, whether they are expensive or not. And best of all, you can start using it today. So let's get started. Order Rental Secrets now.
Nice. Nice. Let me see if I can click out of this. So how can persons get a copy of your book, Justin?
So as you see there on the website on the right side, there's a buy now section. So people can order the book directly from my website. They can also get it through Apple iTunes and barnesandnoble.com, as well as a couple others that are listed down there as well. So it's really, the website itself is a really good kind of repository of some of the conversations that I've been having. So all the podcasts that I've done are archived there. There's some testimonials that are there as well. From people, from both actually landlords, college students, and renters as well. So really the idea is from the book is to set up this kind of virtuous cycle of win-win between the renter and the landlord, so that everybody benefits from the rental situation that's created.
I'm seeing the topics that are covered, and of course this is what I saw.
Right.
So those are the 5 areas that are covered in your book. Rentals. Yes.
So it covers those 5 areas and goes into a lot more detail. And having those, when I think about someone walking into a rental office to have a conversation with a landlord, most likely they've waited until the last minute to have this conversation, which I don't recommend. Like, we're looking for an apartment today, next week I'm starting my job.
That's right. you know that's how it goes, right, Justin?
Yeah. And by doing that, they unfortunately they place themselves in a less powerful position because you don't have time to ask the questions that you need to ask. Because it's like, look, I've got half an hour to spend with you. There are 10 apartment complexes I need to look at. Just give me the rundown and let me go see the place. And so rushing through that process really is they're doing themselves a disservice. You really need the time to ask the questions, not only of the person that you're interacting with in the office, but talk to the other residents. Ask them questions. They've already signed their lease. It doesn't really make any difference to them, so they will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Yeah,
that's absolutely right. And you look around, you look at the place, you get a feel, you follow your spirit. I like how you say here, it's your guide to leveraging the power you didn't know you have in the rental process in any rental market. Because as we talk, you realize that a lot of the things happening in the US is happening here in Trinidad as well. Anyone can apply these strategies. No special abilities or talents are needed, and you can start using them today. So get a copy of Rental Secret. I like how you pull back the paper here. It says like pull back everything, pull back the curtain. I'm going to show you what's behind. Yeah.
Exactly. And the topics that are talked about in the book, they're not specific to the California Bay Area. They're not specific to the United States. These are strategies that anyone can use anywhere in the world in a rental situation, because what I'm talking about are the pressures that the landlords are facing. Now, there
Yeah.
are going to be some legal differences and that kind of thing. And the book is not really about the legal side of this. It's about the market side of this,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the social capital side of this, the relationship side of this.
Yeah.
So so the information is really applicable regardless of where you live. As long as you're in a rental situation, there are strategies in here that can help you.
Awesome. I love that. That's a great way to end the show. Oh my goodness. Justin, this has been a powerful conversation. I think we got in a lot of information in a short space of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yes.
I'm glad that your audience will be able to benefit from our conversation.
Of course they would. And I'm looking forward to that summit when you have it. Please keep me in the loop. You have my email and everything. Let me know what's happening because I would love to jump on and learn much more about this whole real estate and what's happening in the market. And
Yes,
for all you know,
absolutely.
I may decide to invest in the state and in the States and come and have you train me to make money and live rent free. I don't know.
Right. You'll be more than welcome.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Justin. For sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. This is what Between the Lines is all about: helping to educate and empower individuals and let them know that, take the time. Don't wait, like you said, the last minute to you lose your power. So we want to get the information out there as much as possible. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.